don't know color theory. The only reason I know red and blue make green is because of the old Ziploc commercials. Red and blue make green.
Yellow and blue make green.
Red and blue make green.
Yellow and blue make green. This is easy.
Alright, I warned you last week, didn't I? That this week was going to be disjointed because Hasbro decided to run their PulseCon on Friday, which, as I'm recording this, is tomorrow. If you're watching this on Patreon, it's today. If you're catching this on YouTube, it was yesterday. But it's still all toys to talk about, and that's what I do. I'm Robo. This here's the rewind. First up, let's catch up with our old pals, the Plunderlings. The Cursed Idol game is running right now, involving mazes and maps and coins and a gold Plunderling. If you've backed any of the campaigns or run into them at shows or ordered something off their site recently, you have received a golden coin. That means you can get on plunderplanet.com and find the nearest toy store where you can redeem that coin for a Cursed Idol figure. And don't worry, if you want the coin too, you can go back at the end of the campaign and they'll give you the coin back. Or if you live off in the sticks like I do, you can go to the message in the bottle part of the site, take a picture of your coin, send that in, pay shipping, and get your Cursed Idol. So yeah, just a way for the Plunderlings team to say thanks and to get people out to the smaller mom and pop shops, because that's important too. Just know that this game runs until October, so get your coins or do what you need to do to get a Cursed Idol. And if this goes well, maybe we'll see this promotion again, involving more locations and grow bigger and bigger and bigger. In the realm of teases, here is the Kyoto Amazing Yamaguchi Street Fighter 6 Jury. That's kind of a break from the normal toy line rollout, especially when it comes to Street Fighter. They're jumping straight to Jury this early in the line, skipping over a bunch of bigger names, more popular characters. At least to someone like me who has a basic general knowledge of the property. From that standpoint, I look at Jury and go, who? I have seen that name on a lot of wish lists though. Like I said, usually when you start a toy line, you go big names. Although we have seen quite a few of, here's a big name, here's a lesser name. Bigger name, lesser name. Kind of pairing them up for longevity. So hopefully this ballsy move pays off for Kyoto, because the Reveltech joint system seems custom made for a line like this. Sticking with that subject, but swinging around to some figures we already knew about news, the Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2 Cammy and DJ went up for pre-order this week. We've seen these at shows, and we have released Street Fighter figures from Jada in our hands already, so we know the deal. Awesome sculpts, amazing articulation. Jada Toys is killing it with every release. But I can take all that a step further and confirm that they are absolutely phenomenal in hand, because I got to mess around with these two at San Diego Comic-Con. At dinner, surrounded by people who do not give a damn about action figures. I was with Veeves and Matt and June, and he broke these out, and it was like the whole world went black, just like just having a ball, playing with action figures, not a care in the world. I'd look over and I'd get a glance. It wasn't like, look at that. It was more like, hey, what you doing? And I'm like, I am happy. You want to hit off this? Too bad. These are mine. Precious. That's how good these are. I mean, I do not care about Street Fighter, but I care about these figures. That says a lot when the main lines I collect are nostalgia driven. These are just fun. Pure and simple. We also have experience with the LooseCollector Executive Replicas Coffin Comics La Muerta, and to see that painted in red for Roja? Well, hell, that's just good business. Especially when that seems accurate to the source. Why wouldn't you repaint this into red? Because that figure's a badass. Design, figure-wise, everything. This is more of the same. Doing a deep comic cover Google dive, I noticed that the bones are sometimes painted black, and I would have liked to seen that in action figure form too. And that's not ruling out that it won't happen later on, but I also like the bones in white too. So looks to be about the same weapon loadout too, so no problem there. It's just a solid release and a sensible repaint. That segues beautifully over to the NECA Dungeons & Dragons 50th Anniversary Elkhorn and Zarak. Again, there's a whole heaping helping of familiarity here. We already spied these with our little eyes in the display case at San Diego Comic-Con. We knew these were coming. Well, we knew that before because they were on the back of Warduke and Steelheart's 50th Anniversary releases, weren't they? If not, it just makes sense because they're going to continue that premise where they take the figures they've already produced and put them into a vintage type color scheme where they make them brighter and take away the shading. It's just NECA getting some clever reuse out of existing molds while giving fans of the original line a big old nostalgia tug. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And hopefully the sales of these is funding new sculpts so we can get more characters into this line. I wasn't big into the original Dungeons & Dragons line. In fact, I don't even remember most of them, but NECA has updated these so beautifully that it's really hard to pass them up. Especially when they release 1 or 2 at a time, because, oh, I have a little extra funds this month. Yoink. And now welcome to the Beetlejuice segment of this rewind. We're gonna start with NECA's Ultimate Beetlejuice in his Bio-Exorcist gear because we were just talking about NECA. NECA begets NECA, so just moving right over. Out of the 3 we're talking about today, I'm going to make a bold statement and say that this is the best likeness. I know, stick with me though. NECA nailed the expressions here, especially this one. More than that though, I think it comes down to the dirtiness. At first glance, the paints look raggedy, but then you realize that works right into the grunginess of Beetlejuice. That really comes into play when comparing to Mezco and Bandai, which we're still getting to, hold on. Not the costume I was expecting, but that's not a bad thing at all, especially when you consider the other 2 companies took the safe route. I mean, come on. When you think Beetlejuice, you think of the black and white suit. Even though in the original movie, it wasn't in it as much as you remember. And it's not like NECA's gonna skip that look. I know they solicited a less articulated version this week, but no, I'll wait for the ultimate version before I speak on it more. All in all, this is the cheapest option out there. And I don't mean that in a negative way whatsoever. I just mean compared to the other 2. Plus, if you're watching your budget and you want a Beetlejuice, this is perfectly fine. This is great. This is good. It's NECA. They have a price point. You know what to expect. But for something a bit more expensive and deluxe, there's the Mezco 1/12 Collective Beetlejuice. This is pretty much all the bells and whistles you could want with the black and white suit. There's a light-up gravestone that looks absolutely amazing. A light-up carousel head with extended hammer arms. A couple of things before moving on here. They make sure to point out that it's extended hammer arms. The words on the picture say that. The description says that. So what is this? Is that just a prop for the photo shoot? Is rolled up arms an unlisted swappable option? Or did I miss where it says that the hammer arms have removable hands and it coils up so you can get this look? I'm just looking for clarification here. But another thing I noticed in these pictures is how much the beasties hanging from the carousel look like Nightmare Before Christmas creatures. And yes, I know this was several years before Nightmare Before Christmas. Was production already starting? Preliminary concept art and the same designers maybe? Because that sure does look like Jack Skellington's head up there on top. Has that always been there or was that added later? Here I am still learning stuff. I may not remember it next week, but I'm learning it today. That's always fun. Anyway, there's also a shrunken head, a nail file, and the handbook for the recently deceased. No, I didn't forget about the alternate heads. Like I said a minute ago, stick with me. Now, don't get me wrong at all. These look good. Good enough that this may be my Beetlejuice of choice. I feel like it comes with enough stuff to justify that $155 price point, as much as that hurts. Here the exaggerated expressions look so much better than the more neutral looks, because those kinda stumble. And I know that it's standard Mezco MO to not nail likenesses when it comes to live action. It's almost like they do that on purpose. They have to Mezcofy everything, even if it's just very slight tweaks. But this one almost comes off as the model on the front of the packaging of a Beetlejuice Halloween costume. It's a good-looking Beetlejuice Halloween costume model, but still off enough to make you go, In fact, it's the heads that look off to one side or the other that do it for me, while the ones looking straight on are just kind of... they're just kind of there. But that all comes off as hot air because I'll be hard-pressed not to display it like this. It's just too good. That would have a lot of shelf presence. That can go anywhere, just knocking figures up through the ceiling of, well, there's a display, figure in half, put it up on under the next shelf above, and have Beetlejuice hanging there. That'd be cool. All in all, I feel like this is the best option, but it better be for the price. Because if you're thinking something more middle of the road, Bandai is about to solicit their SH Figuarts Beetlejuice. Again, the more outlandish the face, the better it looks in action figure form, and all three heads that they're showing here are great. Sculpturally. You still sticking with me? Remember when I said dirtiness adds to the accuracy here? I'm only seeing little specks of filth in places. It just comes off as too clean. For my tastes at least. And it does seem like I'm doing a lot of griping, but it's very rare where we get promotional images from several different companies for the same character at the same time. I mean, unless it's some big Marvel or Star Wars release, and even then, all three different companies at the same time? That's crazy. Plus, I've been waiting a long time for a Beetlejuice that'll fit into my display, so I'm just weighing the pros and cons. As we all should. The sculpts, the paints, the options, the accessories, the price. It depends on whether you like soft goods, imports, something a bit more budget friendly. There's so much going on. And you're watching me make my decision in real time. It's painful, isn't it? Because really, if I wanted something to fiddle with, to play with, to get hardcore rowdy in poses and everything, I would go with the SHF. What it lacks in filth, it makes up in personality. It's almost like a live-action version of the cartoon Beetlejuice, which I know is an animated version of the movie character. But it's like, put through that filter, and then put back through that filter, and this is what you get. It slightly loses something, but then it gains something else. This is even more tempting if I plan on using the Mezco with the carousel head and the hammer arms. Then I could take this and put it with the gravestone in the general figure display. Then the NECA is a completely different costume that fits in with a different shelf because of the 7-inch movie. What the hell, did I just talk myself into all three? Or am I just so hungry for a Beetlejuice that I'd eat up every morsel I can get? Granted, I'm saying all this with all the pretty promotional pictures flying in my face, all new and such. It's a completely different animal when it comes time to pony up that pre-order money. I have some pondering to do. Plus, we don't even know the full spread for the Bandai yet. Maybe it comes with some goodies that is needed for a Beetlejuice display. It's almost like these companies get together. Hey, we're gonna do this, but kind of not this. If you do that, then we can both profit and take advantage of these poor consumers. Speaking of green-haired, pasty-faced guys in suits, here is the McFarlane Toys DC Direct Digital Fidgetal Silver Age Joker. Yeah, we're still playing this game. It's DC Multiverse with a digital component marketed under the DC Direct brand. But we all know the truth. Hell, that's the same body we've seen on multiple Jokers over in that other toy line. Oh, what's it called? Oh, Multiverse. They've built up a library of ties and vests and jackets to change them up a little bit, usually under brand new Joker heads. Saying that, God damn it, I may be in for this Joker too. It just looks too good. The Silver Age pool is strong. I wish it looked a little bit more like the card with the face sculpt and suit color, but I can't complain about this one either. Maybe that'll be a variant down the line or something. Platinum, gold, silver, something. Crisis Earth 2 Robin is also tempting in its wackiness. This is before my time reading DC, but I've always liked this look because of its silliness, its cheesiness, along with the Earth 2 Robin in the Batman suit with the yellow cape and the scalloped collar. I like that look too. But if we're getting this, surely we're gonna get that. This one definitely hits the spot for now though. And if you're about to type, looks like Invincible, turn that around. Invincible looks like this. Earth 2 Robin precedes Invincible by more than a few years. I hate to get all old man on you, but you youngins with your Invincibles and your toys that aren't sticks and dirt. Yes, sir. I can't do it again. Moving into Hasbro, because like I said, that's what we'll be talking about when PulseCon actually happens. They revealed the Marvel Legends Dragon Man way back at San Diego Comic-Con. You know, a month and a half ago. Doesn't it feel like forever? At the time, they let us know that this would not be a HasLab or a Build-A-Figure. It was going to be available to pre-order in a limited window. Made to order, no sellouts during that time, but once that window closed, you're shit out of luck. That wasn't their words, but that's essentially it. That window opened this week and will close October 17th. So you have a little over a month to decide if you want to drop $85 on this 10-inch tall, beefy action figure with a 10-inch bendy tail and a 17.5-inch wingspan. If you're using the stretched out wings, there's also the option for relaxed wings. When I first saw it, I thought there was also alternate head options. One angry, one calm, but no, the power of an opening jaw and a pair of glasses. Yeah, I'm that guy that gets kind of confused when you change up your hairstyle and throw on spectacles. I am with the crowd that's wondering why the collapsed wings aren't painted orange on the inside like the spread out ones. Do the membranes get thinner as they extend, allowing more light to shine through? Did I miss an explanation somewhere? Has this been addressed? I'm more into adding the orange because it creates a nice contrast if you display it with the wings down. The all purple look kind of all melts together. You look at the picture and then, oh, okay, that's a lot of purple. But then with the orange on the inside of the wings, pop, the figure itself stands out at you. Maybe we'll hear more about that during tomorrow's Hasbro PulseCon. Because with that, I'm done. No, 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 no! Okay, that's what happens when I have too much time on my hands. I keep playing and playing and playing. But Hasbro's PulseCon just ended, so we're gonna rapid fire through it because I just walked out here and I have so many, what's going on? But we're gonna look at the pictures, go through the list, and see what happens. Sticking with Dragon Man, since we just talked about that a minute ago, or 12 hours ago, somewhere in there. They did address the inside of the wing color. The spread out wings are orange in reference to a game that I don't play, and I kind of missed it as I was going through, and I was like, okay, this is but then the relaxed wings are purple on the inside because of the classic look for Dragon Man. As I was sitting there looking at the pictures, I thought, well, I'll just paint the inside myself then. But then I realized the shape of the wings would probably work on the Aster custom that I just finished up for a relaxed wing there. Look, because right now, he's taking up a lot of shelf space, like I always said about the NECA gargoyles. Just, they'd still be pretty big, pretty tall. Would it fit on a gargoyle? That's future worries. Right now, I'm just worried about getting Dragon Man himself. They did say that the cutoff of October 17th is right before New York Comic-Con on purpose. So, will we see more? Because they will be doing reveals during New York Comic Con. In a month. During the pre-show, they had an early sample of ROM. Now, this is just to show progress. That doesn't mean it's being made out of translucent plastic or something like that. That's just the plastic on hand in order to test the mold. Hence, test shot. Jumping back to the regular reveals, they had the Spider-Man animated series Spider-Man and Vulture 2-pack. Now, you know me and 90s cartoons. I didn't watch a lot of them back then, but this is a good looking generic type Spider-Man. But to me, who has a pile of Spider-Mans and unmasked Peter Parker heads, the Flash Thompson head is a little tempting. I'll admit that. Because then I look at the Vulture and I think, yes, I remember at some point in the comics he was younger, or he had some kind of where he could suck the youngness out of the life force maybe and become younger. But they also include an old man Vulture head, so that's cool. Which, to me, is the whole point of Vulture. You know vultures, they have that icky looking head, bald and such. The classic comic Vulture is perfect. Why are you messing with perfection cartoons? But I didn't have to wait long for some classic comic goodness because the Secret Wars wave was up next, and oh man, it hits me right in the feels and right where it hurts, the wallet. And they came out swinging with Beyonder. I never thought in a million years that we would get, well, okay, maybe in less than a million years, I figured we would get a Marvel Legends Beyonder. But man, it's not the full-on 70s disco version. It's kind of updated a little bit, but still, it's the Beyonder. He still has his V-neck, and the collar looks pretty sweet. They kept on swinging with Titania, another character I figured we wouldn't get in the near future. Well, okay, when we saw She-Hulk, we thought, okay, bigger female body. We gotta get Titania, but then they turned around and said that it's not reuse of She-Hulk, so it's just another large female body. Wait. Is that Power Princess? Dang, it's been a while since I compared those two. Titania. Do I have to say anything else? I'm just gonna stand here and just... Titania. I will say, after a minute of staring at the pictures, spikes on the bodysuit do give me kind of... When are we ever gonna get a Excalibur, Rachel? You're out there somewhere. Somewhere! Next up was the Wolverine that they slipped into the case back at San Diego Comic-Con that was with the video game character. So, hey, that's the video game. But then a lot of you said that's not the video game colors. And I was like, okay, then maybe it's some of the Secret Wars. That's right. It does kind of go with the coloring there. Wolverine masked with a smile like that. I don't know why it's... I want that on a t-shirt. I just want that right there. Just like, happy to be Canadian and claw hands and not a care in the world. I've been alive for 200 years. The unmasked head reminds me of the old 5-inch figures for some reason, though. It makes me think that the mask should have been a clip-on, but then that's not Marvel Legends. That's just silliness. We don't want silliness in our action figures, do we? Have I mentioned the shields? I haven't, because that doesn't really hold any nostalgia for me. For some reason, I missed the original Secret Wars line, even though I was reading comics. I don't know how that worked out. Next up was Iron Man, and at first glance I thought, well, I don't need that. That seems like the same sculpt I already have. Wait a second. Roller skates? They did explain that the lenticular turns to Tony Stark because the original release did that, even though in the storyline it was Rhodey. What would have been cool here is to have an unmasked Rhodey head that went with this body and then have the lenticular as it is. That's what I would have done if I were in charge of things and had millions of dollars and just said, do this, and they were like, yes, sir. But then there was a Captain America next. A great looking light blue Captain America. That's my weakness. I can't help it. That's my kryptonite to pull from another comic company. The Cracked Up shield is amazing. It's awesome. I love it. It's very story specific. The pieces that fall off and go onto the ground is cool. But man, I want a shield this size intact to go with our Captain Americas that we have these days. Because the 20th anniversary one had the holes in it for effects, and then all the rest of the shields are small except for one. What did that come with? It came with some oddball Captain America that I stole to give to my 20th anniversary Captain America. But anyway, it'd be cool for all Captain Americas from now on to include a larger shield. And then to finish off the wave, why wouldn't they do a symbiote Spider-Man? It's Secret Wars. This is where this costume debuted. That's where we learned that Spider-Man can look good outside of the red and blue, which makes green to call all the way back to the first and then Playday the other day. I may have missed it when I was trying to save the pictures and screenshots and everything, but is this the Amazing Fantasy 15 body? Or is this the Spider-Man body we got with the last symbiote and the retro card and that with pinless joints? Maybe. I don't know. It looks a little skinnier. I also like that other head with the smaller eyes. God dang it! My first impression was, well, I only need half the wave. Beyonder for sure. Titania for sure. Captain America roller skates. Grr. Wolverine's an X-Man and looks good with the smile and the lighter browns. Well, that just leaves one. I might as well get the symbiote Spider-Man since it looks pretty sweet too. It looks like a nice upgrade. At the beginning of the Marvel Legends segment, they announced a fan vote consisting of just Dwight's favorite, Ryan's favorite, Dan's favorite. And then the winner was Dan's favorite, which just so happens to be Uncanny X-Force Nightcrawler. Not high on my wish list unless you're gonna go through and update all the team, which they did talk about, so maybe that's on the list somewhere. It's still a cool looking Nightcrawler, and I do like grays and blacks. It depends on how this releases, he says. Then to finish off the segment, they had their usual tease of a small handheld part. And to me, it looks like a mask of some kind that somebody holds or it's laying on the ground, which leads me to Chameleon. Maybe a new version, maybe animated. I don't know. We're doing it out of order because I ended with Marvel Legends last night went through Marvel Legends, we're going to jump back to G.I. Joe reveals at PulseCon. For the new mainline wave, they showed pretty promotional pictures for characters that we already saw in digital reveal, like Leatherneck. That doesn't matter, we just get better looks at new characters. Leatherneck is looking awesome. So does Dial Tone with his tech backpack that has stuff pop off and the back thing folds down for communications, and he's got all kinds of gear and the cell phone that has a case down here or goes on the gun. It's crazy. They make sure to point out that Xandar's gear does come off and that he is decoed underneath. So if you want a more original look, you can do that. It's the same for the Saw Viper. It gives you a lot of options on how to display it. Take parts off, put parts on, however you want to do it. They forgot to do the digital reveals during the actual panel, but thankfully they posted those on socials afterwards. And so here is our first look at Heavy Duty. And he is loaded up with stuff. He is downright, well, heavy duty. Look. Heavy duty. But then Law and Order brings another animal into the fray, and I've said it several times this week. G.I. Joe kills it with the animals, and this is no different. Is that a helmet and goggles type thing for? Come on. For name-only reveals, they threw out the hunt for the mass device, and that's it. So speculate away. And then we're going to end it with Star Wars Black Series, because there's stuff to talk about when it comes to Star Wars Black Series. That makes me happy. It feels like it's been a little while. I get a little bread for my butter because look, it's Shadows of the Empire Prince Shizor. Now we knew this was coming because of some kind of leaked figure from overseas or parts, pieces, something. But man, it sure is nice to hear the words come out of their mouth, to see the actual prototypes. Just Shizor has been on my custom list for a long time, but that perfect base body just never came along because it's so unique looking within this universe. Now all I have to do is sit back, wait, plunk my money down when the time is right, receive Prince Shizor. Finally. I also like Clone Commander Bakara because, man, that color scheme is amazing. It's been a while since I've stood all my clones up together. I can't even remember what I got and what I don't got, but this will go in with those just front and center, and then have my Jedis, my commanders, my clones. I need to go in the house and redo my space. I do have a custom of the Commando droid, but I can't pose it around too much. It's made out of resin, it's 3D printed, it's painted, which I can pose it a little bit, but I can't get down and dirty like I can with a retail figure. Plus I love that blade just hanging on the back or ready for attack. The Gaming Greats Jedi Survivor Dagon Jarrah kind of misses me. Only because I haven't played that game. I have no frame of reference. I have no connection to this character. In fact, when I first saw it, I was like, who put Dungeons and Dragons in my Star Wars? Get out there. Well, it does look pretty good. It does fit with the rest of my figures. Maybe it's okay. I don't know if I'll get this, but it does look cool. The hard decision I'm facing right now is, do I need yet another Tatooine Luke Skywalker? This looks good. This looks great. I always say that Star Wars needs to have the main characters available most of the time. Get them out there, because who wants to collect a line where you only have the secondary, or jump into a line starting out? Well, all I can get are these characters that are left over at Walmart. Where's my Lukes? Where's my Leias? Where's my Darth Vader? Well, okay, Darth Vader is at my Walmart right now, but that doesn't matter. It's still the rest of the main cast. This will be somebody's first Luke Skywalker. That's what matters. But in my brain, I'm like, well, I have this one, and I have this one, and I have the soft good one, and this. But my only complaint here is the head. It does look a bit off, but that's just Mark Hamill. Apparently, he's nigh impossible to translate into plastic form. Princess Leia, on the other hand, looks damn good here. In fact, a little blasphemy story before getting into this. My SH Figuarts Leia has the last Hasbro Star Wars Black Series photo real Leia head on it, because I just think it looks better, and this looks even better than that. Mostly because the hood on this one will fit the actual head it comes with. I love that they went with options there, that you could swap out the hangy down hood or the hood over the head hood. The SH Figuarts hood doesn't really fit the Black Series as good as this. Will make it into the collection. I'm still fumbling around on Luke, but he'll probably make it. you know how it goes. And that's all I got for this week. PulseCon didn't go on as long as I thought it would. I guess because they will be doing reveals at New York Comic Con in 1 month. So it just became another monthly reveal thing. As always, special thanks to the Nobots, the Patreon, who had to endure my oh, tomorrow's gonna get dumb. Here's a time warp portal video thing that I'm gonna stick into the rewind this week. Sorry. But no, it was fun. I think it's only been once or twice that I had to split up the weekly or the rewind where I recorded one night and then waited for some stuff. Usually I wait for everything and go through on one pass, but I don't know. It's also kind of nice having some time in the middle to go, could I do this? Maybe I should do this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. But rarely do I say, I shouldn't do this. And even if I do, I think, I need to cut that out. That's just dumb. But you know what? I'm to that age where, who cares? This is me. Put it out there. Talk about toys, have some fun. That's all we're doing here. So yeah, I'm not going to take up any more of your Saturday. In fact, I don't know how long this is running at this point. I'm just splitting in the middle. I lost all concept of length here. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go out, find some toys to buy, find some toys to customize. I'm going to finish up my Death Bird because I screwed up the paint job on the body. I'm having to repaint it, rethink it, re-strategize. Plus, I was half afraid that they were going to announce a Death Bird. Which doesn't matter. I still would have finished this, but the gusto for it would have died out a little bit. But now that they haven't shown one, I'm going to continue on that. And, dang it, my Rachel Summers. I know they're eventually going to get to her, but I think I found the perfect pieces. So, continue on with that. It's a weekend of customizing. Bye.